Welcome back to Dangerous African Confessions HD, the channel where hidden sins, untold scandals, and dark spiritual truths are exposed without fear. In this episode we have the continuation of our brother's story concerning his struggles with lust and where it led him to. This is not just about one man's battle with addiction, it's about how lust, silence, and betrayal can destroy entire destinies. Before we begin, make sure you subscribe, hit the notification bell, and share this video with someone who needs to hear it. Because what you're about to witness is not entertainment, it's a warning, a raw confession, and a chance to reflect. I said earlier that there is one thing about lust, it never satisfies. Every time you give in, and you think this is the last time, the more you feed it, the hungrier it became. And when it happens like that, in the realms of the spirit, you will be dying little by little. Your dreams become polluted. Just like it happened to me. I would wake up with images I didn't invite. I felt chained even in my sleep. It was like a spiritual exchange. Every time I gave in, I lost something. A piece of my purity. A layer of my authority. A drop of my destiny. Looking back now, I see the devil's plan clearly. Lust is not just about pleasure. It's about destruction. Satan knows he cannot stop God's plan for your life, but he can distract you, delay you, and drain you until you are powerless. Through lust, he steals your confidence. He silences your prayers. He makes you too guilty to seek God. And slowly, he cuts you off from the source of your strength. That's why so many gifted men and women of God fall. Not because they don't love God, but because the enemy slipped in quietly through lust, until the fire was gone. You see, for me, the worst part was knowing what I had lost. I could feel the absence of God's presence. I could feel that my spirit was not sharp anymore. I couldn't hear God clearly. It was like living in a fog. A fog of guilt. A fog of shame. A fog of weakness. And I kept asking myself, is this how my life ends? Empty. Chained. Far from the God I once loved. That is the deeper spiritual wound lust leaves behind. It convinces you that you can never return. That your calling is wasted. That your destiny is dead. I don't share this to entertain anyone. I share this because I want someone to see the trap before it's too late. Pornography is not just a habit. Lust is not just a weakness. It is a weapon. A weapon the devil uses to strip you of the very thing God gave you, your authority, your glory, your destiny. I lost so much. And if you are listening to me now, I beg you, don't wait until you lose everything before you fight back. The honest truth that I have come to learn is that, you don't wake up one day and say, I want to be an addict. It doesn't happen like that. It creeps in. Slowly. Patiently. And before you know it, the thing you thought you controlled, now controls you. The unfortunate thing is that, the people who happens to be the chosen vessels of God, are the ones that find themselves in this situation. And if they don't realize it faster, and do something about it, it dims their pure fire. And sometimes too, substitution happens to the person. What I mean is that, instead of now doing the assignment for the good Lord that brought him or her here, you will see the work will be one alright, but with a different spirit that got the chance to penetrate through and occupied his or her body. You see, my own grip tightened when I was in my early 20s. Pornography wasn't just a habit anymore. It was a need. I couldn't sleep without it. I couldn't think straight without it. My body screamed for it like oxygen. Sometimes I'd skip meals, just to lock myself in a room with my phone. Hours would pass, and I'd be lost in that world. And here's the part people don't tell you, pornography changes the way you see people. I couldn't talk to a girl without undressing her in my mind. I couldn't sit in church without fighting images flooding my head. Even when my mother hugged me, a part of me felt dirty. I thought maybe a girlfriend would fix me. That's what I told myself. If I have real intimacy with a lady, maybe I won't need the fake one. So I started dating. She was sweet. She cared for me. But I wasn't there. Not really. Pornography had trained me to expect things from her, things she didn't want, things that weren't normal. I remember the first time we kissed. Instead of joy, I felt disappointment. Because in my head, she wasn't as perfect as the women I saw online. And that's when I realized I wasn't dating her. I was dating my fantasy. Within months, I ruined it. I demanded too much. I lied. I cheated. And when she cried, begging me to stop, I felt nothing. It got to a time where the porn itself wasn't enough. My fantasies wanted flesh. I started chasing random encounters, hookups, risky meetings, anything to feed the fire. I would sit in lecture halls, shaking, unable to concentrate, waiting for class to end so I could find someone, anyone. Sometimes it worked. Sometimes it didn't. But each time I succeeded, it was the same story, 5 minutes of thrill, hours of emptiness. And then I'd crawl back to the screen again. But you see, the sad part is that, on the outside, nobody knew. I was the quiet one, the smart one, the good boy. My family thought I was focused on school. My church thought I was holy. My friends thought I was disciplined. But when the lights went off, my world changed. I became a slave to urges, to guilt, to lies. Every night, I'd whisper, "God, forgive me. Tomorrow I'll stop." But tomorrow never came. Again, my brothers and sisters, addiction doesn't just kill the body. It kills the mind. I stopped trusting myself. I stopped believing I had a future. Every time I looked in the mirror, I hated the person staring back at me. There were nights I'd cry into my pillow. Not because I wanted more porn, but because I couldn't stop. I hated what I had become. I hated that I couldn't live without it. Some nights, the thoughts got darker. Maybe it's better if I don't wake up tomorrow. Maybe it's better if this ends. I have really lived life that I am not proud of. And it all started with porn. Pornography pushed me into places I never imagined. I started messaging strangers online. Dangerous strangers. There were times I almost got blackmailed. Times I almost got caught. Times I found myself in neighborhoods I had no business being in, chasing lust like a madman. Each time, I swore I'd never go back. But the hunger always dragged me back. I want you to understand, this is not just about porn. This is about how lust takes a little boy's innocence and turns it into chains. Chains you can't see. Chains you can't touch. But chains that drag you deeper and deeper and deeper until you forget what freedom feels like. I remember the day my younger brother walked in on me. He didn't say anything. He just froze at the door, staring at me, then ran. I chased him, begged him not to tell anyone. But in that moment, I saw something in his eyes that broke me: disappointment. Shame. Fear. I wasn't his role model anymore. I wasn't his big brother. I was a stranger. From that day, he never looked at me the same. I tried again with another relationship. She was kind. Patient. She thought she could help me heal. But addiction is selfish. Every time she called, I ignored her. Every time she visited, I lied. And when she finally found out, when she caught me red-handed, phone in hand, drowning in filth, her face changed. I'll never forget what she said: "You don't love me. You don't even love yourself. You only love your prison." Then she walked away. And I didn't chase her. Because I knew she was right. You see, when relationships failed, when my grades collapsed, when family trust disappeared, I ran deeper into the very thing that destroyed me. And that is the lie of addiction: you run to the fire to escape the burns. I stayed up all night, eyes red, glued to the screen. Some mornings, I'd walk out of my room at dawn, pretending I had just woken up, when in reality I hadn't slept at all. The guilt grew heavier. But so did the hunger. And what really got me to really think and know where I was going was that there came a night I'll never forget. I had locked myself in, laptop glowing in the dark. I was watching things I never thought I'd watch, things that made me hate myself even more. And then, it hit me. I whisper to myself, if I die right now, this is who I am. This is how the world will remember me. A man chained to lust. A man destroyed by screens. That night, for the first time, I asked myself, do I even want to live like this anymore? I want you to understand, addiction doesn't just hurt you. It hurts everyone around you. It burns trust. It kills love. It steals years. And the deeper you go, the more it convinces you that there's no way out. This is where I tell you, if you want to enter into marriage thinking it will help you leave your porn addiction and lust, then you don't even know what you are putting yourself up against. Porn addiction is like a jealous rival. You see, years of pornography and self-indulgence did something to my body. At first, I didn't notice. But slowly, I began to realize that real intimacy no longer excited me. I had gotten married, and when my wife come close, her arms warm, her touch gentle. But instead of desire, I felt numb. My mind was so rewired by what I had fed it for years that reality couldn't compare. I struggled with performance. Nights that should have been beautiful ended in frustration. She thought I didn't love her. She thought I found her unattractive. But the truth was worse, my body was trained to respond to pixels, not people. Sometimes, in the middle of our intimacy, my mind would wander. I'd be with her physically, but in my head, I was replaying images from years of addiction. I was never truly present. That broke her. And it broke me too. Addiction steals joy. I became quick-tempered, restless, always on edge. When my wife wanted to talk, I was distant. When she wanted affection, I was cold. My mood swung wildly, guilt made me withdrawn, hunger made me irritable. Soon, she stopped asking questions. She started crying in silence. And I pretended not to notice, because facing her pain meant facing my failure. At family gatherings, people would ask, how's married life? I'd force a smile. Inside, I felt like a fraud. And even worse than the physical and emotional damage was the spiritual emptiness. I had grown up around faith. I knew the scriptures. I knew the prayers. But the deeper I sank into lust, the further God felt. I couldn't pray with my wife. Every time I knelt, my own conscience screamed at me, you're dirty. You're unworthy. When I stood in church, lifting my hands, I felt like a hypocrite. I looked around at other men and wondered if they could see it in my eyes. Could they tell what I was hiding? Even when I tried to read the Bible, the words felt heavy, locked away from me. I wasn't just addicted. I was spiritually starved. The breaking point came one evening when my wife looked me straight in the eyes and asked, am I not enough for you? Her voice trembled. Her hands shook. She had been holding that question in for months. Maybe years. And I had no answer. Because deep down, I knew she was enough. She had always been enough. But my addiction had lied to me for so long that I couldn't even enjoy the gift God had given me. That night, she slept in tears. And I lay beside her, staring at the ceiling, realizing I had turned the person I loved most into a victim of my own chains. What I want to say last is that, addiction isn't just about what you do. It's about what it does to you. Physically, it drained me. Spiritually, it robbed me. Emotionally, it crippled me. But the worst part was the constant whisper in my head, you'll never be free. This is who you are. I carried that voice into every fight with my wife, every failed attempt at intimacy, every Sunday in church. It became my shadow. And the more I listened to it, the more hopeless I became. My brothers and sisters, I want you to understand something. Lust doesn't end when you get married. Porn doesn't let go just because you said I do. If you don't fight it before marriage, it will follow you into marriage. And when it does, it won't just break you. It will break the one who loves you most. Did you hear that? Did you feel that? A man's entire life, his body, shattered because of one thing, lust unchecked. Addiction unchallenged. This is not just his story. It is the story of millions across Africa, across the world. Men and women who sit quietly in churches, in homes, in classrooms, smiling on the outside, but carrying chains no one else can see. Pornography and lust are not entertainment. They are not harmless pleasures. They are prisons. They are poisons. And slowly, they rewrite the way you think, the way you feel, the way you love. Many believe the same lie. But the truth is this: if you don't confront lust while you're single, it will confront you when you're married. And by then, it will not only wound you, it will wound your spouse, your children, your future. Young people, hear me well. The internet is a silent teacher. What you watch, what you feed your mind, will one day feed your character. Every image you indulge, every fantasy you entertain, is shaping the man or woman you are becoming. If you think you can handle it, you're already deceived. Because what starts as curiosity ends in captivity. And by the time you realize it, you're already deep in chains. The greatest weapon lust uses is guilt. It convinces you that you're unworthy of God's love, that you're too dirty to pray, too broken to be restored. But that is a lie. The truth is this: freedom is possible. Healing is possible. Redemption is possible. But it starts with confession. It starts with breaking the silence. Just like you heard today. We tell these stories here on Dangerous African Confessions HD not to entertain you, but to wake you up. To remind you that every choice has consequences. And to show you that silence is deadly. So as you leave this episode, I want you to reflect: what chains are you carrying in secret? And more importantly, are you ready to break them before they break you? If this story shook you, don't let it stop here. Share it. Someone you know is fighting this same silent battle. Subscribe to this channel so you don't miss the next confession that could save a life. And in the comments, tell us what stood out to you most in today's story. This is Dangerous African Confessions HD. Where truth is dangerous, but silence is deadly. Until next time, stay awake.